Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Good movie. Really good movie. It wasn't as big a movie as I was expecting. I was expecting a movie that was going to knock me right out of my seat because there were going to be 75 different cameos from different universes and different properties and stuff, and maybe even people from different comic books were going to show up. Not so much. They kind of kept it modest. A lot of people that you were expecting to show up did show up. A lot of people that we were expecting to show up did not show up. There was a little bit of a hint to other people. One of the things that I like when there's a scene where they're traveling through universes and dimensions, and you see a guy in the far right corner called the Living Tribunal. As far as Marvel comic books goes, he's the second most powerful guy there. He's above the humans, he's above the aliens, he's above the mutants, he's above the gods, he's above the celestial gods, he's above the gods that are above those gods, he's above the ones above all. He is the judgment of the entire multiverse. Anything that is a Marvel property, he looks over and he judges it worthy or unworthy. In fact, in the comics, when Thanos gets the Infinity Gauntlet and he's like, bang, I got the Infinity Gauntlet, I'm going to rule everything. He was still way below that dude. And that dude was like, I have to judge you. So these cosmic entities get together and they're like, Thanos is a bad guy, man. He can't have that. And he was like, look, he was just stronger than you. He didn't really do anything wrong. He was just stronger than you. Predators eat prey all the time. I'll step in and stop him. He was stronger than you. You should have knuckled up, stopped that dude. You couldn't. Judgment for Thanos. He's that powerful. Not only is he more powerful, and comic book Thanos is 100 times more powerful than movie Thanos. They had to dumb him down a lot in order to fit in the movies, because even without the gauntlet, Thanos could beat the Avengers. He fought them a couple of times and beat them almost to death. So that's how powerful that guy was. And I'm glad that they at least hinted that he exists. And he didn't say nothing to him or do nothing to him when they flew past him, because, ants are around me all the time. I don't go down and try to talk to him. He probably didn't even acknowledge them. So they did that. They passed through a bunch of dimensions. I'm not even going to try to name them all. I'll probably make a video, maybe not, and try to name all the dimensions that they passed through, because they did it quick. This movie is about Wanda Maximoff deciding that she wants to do whatever it takes to get her kids back. So she's going to use the Darkhold, which is a book of insane, evil magic, and she decides she's going to use it because it will give her the power that she needs. Going with the story and they kind of went what happened in the comic books. The Darkhold was remade by a very powerful demon whose name appears right here. A very powerful demon who kind of tweaked Wanda's powers to make her a suitable host for him for when he decides to invade our dimension. So he's got to make her powerful. He's got to jack her power up. So, it'll be a comfortable ride for him when he's in our universe. He also helps orchestrate her having children so that he can take them from her, to give her some anguish so that he can. It was actually two different demons, but that's a long story. Trust me, we're not going to get into it right now, but one day we might. And he does this and gives her some anguish and some pain so he can manipulate her. Kind of what happens in the movie. They actually even say his name in the movie, which was kind of cool. They go to a temple because she wants the original text. So They go to a temple, and the temple is at Mount Wondergore, which is the home base of a completely different, I want to say villain. He's not really a villain. He's kind of a villain. He's sort of a villain. He's probably going to be a villain in the next movie. But they go to Mount Wondergore, which is a place that's usually has the high evolutionary. Their high evolutionary is a regular dude named Wendell, and he decides that he's going to go through a process to evolve himself. And he does, and he evolves himself until he's the pinnacle of human perfection for himself. Captain America is the pinnacle of human perfection. Black Panther is the pinnacle of human perfection. But it's different for different people. For him, he's almost godlike. He is as smart as a human can be, which is the important difference between him and someone like Captain America. He's the pinnacle of human perfection. He's as smart as he can possibly be, and he's a bad, bad man. He can do a lot of things. He's extraordinarily powerful. He has a suit similar to what Iron Man would wear, but it makes him different than Iron Man. He's a very powerful dude. But he's not there, man. They go to his house, man, and he's not there. And I just knew he was going to show up, but they want to have some type of segue to him or something. But nope, he wasn't there. But it's cool because he's probably in deep space messing with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the villain in their next movie. So she originally needs something from Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is protecting America Chavez, who has the ability to flip through dimensions. And Wanda needs that so she can use it and flip through dimensions like she's flipping through the pages of a book and find her children. Dr. Strange poses an interesting thought. He says, hey man, there's one of you in every dimension, right? So what happens to the Wanda in that dimension? You know? And she kind of shrugs it off. But you got to think about it. She's going to kill that Wanda and take her place so that she can raise her children. Disney's dark right now. Disney killed a lot of people in this movie too, so they're kind of dark anyway. I mean, Deadpool is coming, so they're going to kill a bunch of people, but they're killing people. And if you think about it, I mean, think about Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs. They were killing people way back then. You know, it just wasn't like, you know, dead, you know, psycho murder kills, but they were still killing people way back then. So a Marvel story done by Disney where people die kind of makes sense. Still makes sense. It's difficult to tell this story, to talk about this story without giving up spoilers. So I'm going to warn right now. Spoilers. Spoilers ahead, man. You know, view at your own risk. Still here? Come on then, man. They said that they were going to have a lot of cameos, or that was the rumor at least, and they did. They had Bruce Campbell, who was almost always with Sam Raimi, so you got to expect that. That's a gimme. They're a Batman and Robin duo. Spider-Man, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell is almost always with Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi did this movie, so Bruce Campbell. Sir Patrick Stewart was Professor X. Full-on Professor X with the green suit and the yellow hover chair. He was kind of X-Men cartoon Professor X. They never really say, well, they say what dimension that is, but that dimension doesn't exist in the actual comic book lore, so they made it up. Because the dimensions are numbered. The dimension that Strange comes from, they call it the 616, which is the comic book dimension. So I was wondering about that because they're deviating from the comic book, but yet he's in the 616, universe, which is the comic book universe, they all have numbered designations. Comic book universe, the movie universe, the cartoon universe, another universe that's in the movies, another universe that's in the comics. They all got different numbers. They named it the comic book universe, which I found kind of interesting. Haley Atwell is here as Captain Carter, which was kind of cool. I kind of dug that because she's from a cartoon universe, but also like Professor X potentially is, but she's here. Anson Mount was here as Black Bolt, which was kind of cool. I like that. He was full on Black Bolt. He had the mask with the little T plus horn and everything, so that was cool. Also, Lashana Lynch was here. Lashana Lynch. And she played, as many of us surmise, she plays a futurist or a different dimension version of Captain Marvel. She's Captain Marvel from her universe. That was kind of cool. And finally, John Krasinski. Man, he was here. The guy, the one that everybody wants to be Reed Richards. And honestly, I am completely okay with that. Reed Richards, John Krasinski, is in this movie as Reed Richards, man. And he had stretch powers and everything. They didn't use a lot of the stretch powers, which was smart because they really gotta think that through. They probably haven't gotten it completely done yet. I mean, if you see Quicksilver from Sony Universe and Quicksilver from Marvel Universe, they move differently. Both of them are fast. If you see the Flash from the DC Universe, he's clearly fast. He runs weird, but they're different. So when you take all of the Reed Richards from the previous movies and you talk about making it better today, because it's pretty much what Marvel does, they make it better. You got to change the way he moves a little bit. So you could tell that he was stretching, but just a little bit. And they didn't give you a really good look at it. So they're hiding it and they're waiting. And I think that's smart. But these guys are the Illuminati. And essentially, they're this universe's Avengers. Essentially. And there's a great catastrophe that happens to them, similar to what happened to the 616 universe. Thanos shows up. So they had to make some incredible sacrifices, and it put them in a place where something's happening called an incursion. Incursions happen in a comic book when two universes, something triggers two universes to start moving towards one another, and they collide. And either one or both of the universes is completely destroyed. Now, the 616 Illuminati were trying to stop those incursions from happening. The incursions also lead to the second iteration of something called the Secret Wars, where a bunch of heroes and villains have to battle one another. In this version, they battle in a world called War World, and it's a world put together by Doctor Doom, because he's like God Doom, and it gets, if you haven't read the books, me telling you about it in a 2-3 minute video isn't gonna give you a lot of ideas about what's happening, but it gives Marvel the opportunity to take a bunch of people, another bunch of people, and make them fight. Which is really, I mean, we love the stories, but it's really what we come for. We want to see superheroes blasting each other with energy and sticking to walls and flying through air and throwing hammers and turning green. We want all of that smoke. And we'll get it because it's coming. They mentioned incursion 176 times or something like that during this movie, so it's clearly a thing that's going to happen. In the original Secret Wars, this guy called the Beyonder, who was like crazy powerful, brought a bunch of heroes and a bunch of villains, and he said, I don't understand good and evil. Explain it to me by fighting. And he put them on this planet where they had to battle each other. And it was great. It was a great comic book series. Got them in my room right now. Great comic book series. this is something similar. A bunch of heroes, a bunch of villains get together, they gotta fight each other. That's what they're doing. Secret Wars is a coming. So just like Thanos coming, and Thanos was the Infinity Wars and the Infinity Saga and so forth. There's a bunch of Infinity titles. Just like Thanos coming was from the books, the Secret Wars is from the books, and that's going to be a big thing. Though I think the end all will be the Kang Wars. There was a lot to talk about. There's so many things happen in this movie. It was a good movie. It didn't give me what I wanted, but it definitely gave me what I needed. I needed to know what was happening in the future. I needed to see that mutants exist, Xavier exists. I needed to see that the Fantastic Four exists. They say the word Fantastic Four in Baxter Building in the movie. I needed to know these certain things, and now they're canon as far as the movies go. So I want to know. I want to know more, man. I want to know more. But this movie was good. It's probably not going to be what you expect, but it's going to be a good movie, I think. In fact, I think this movie was so good that I would give Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I would give this movie 8 bags of popcorn. 8 bags of popcorn, man, because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now we had a chance to talk about it in the video. Just talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like this video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn Passport.